There is a quality of skin that the Japanese have a word for mochi had. It translates approximately as skin like rice cake, smooth, luminous, so even in tone and texture that it seems to glow from somewhere beneath the surface rather than simply reflecting light. You see in older Japanese women who are in their 70s and 80s with a clarity and evenness to their complexion that seems to contradict their age. And when you ask them what they use, the answer given with a quiet matter-of-factness is almost always the same. Rice, not a cream, not a procedure. Rice, the most common grain in the world, prepared in a specific way, combined with two other kitchen ingredients, and applied to the face twice per week in a protocol that has been passed down through generations so quietly and consistently that most of the women who use it have never thought of it as a beauty treatment at all. It is simply what you do. I have been practicing medicine in Japan for more than 60 years. I am 97 years old. I have observed the skin of my patients across decades, and I have noticed consistently something that the research literature has now begun to explain in molecular detail. Women in Japan who maintain the simple preparation into their later decades consistently show lower rates of age spot formation, greater skin evenness, and a retention of skin clarity that their counterparts in other countries do not maintain as reliably. The preparation is not a coincidence. It is biology, and today I am going to explain it with enough precision that you understand not just what to do, but what you are doing when you do it. My name is Dr. Shigaki Hinohara. Today I am going to give you the preparation, the complete recipe, the exact protocol, and the science behind why each ingredient works at the cellular level. And I am going to tell you at the end of this video the one thing that will undo the results of this preparation entirely if you do not change it. Most people who try this preparation and see no results are making this one mistake. You will not make it after today. If you are ready to understand what Japanese women have known for generations, type the number 13 in the comments right now and subscribe to this channel. I read every comment. Now, let me explain what is actually happening in the skin that causes the changes we call aging. The uneven tone, the dark spots, the dullness, the lines, because these are not simply the passage of time. They are the result of specific identifiable biological processes, and processes that can be identified can be influenced. Your skin color, your tone, your evenness, all of these are primarily determined by a pigment called melanin. Melanin is produced by specialized cells called melanocytes that live in the deepest layer of the epidermis. The melanocytes produce melanin through a process governed by an enzyme called tyrosinase. Hydrolyse converts the amino acid tyrosine into the intermediate compounds that ultimately become melanin. When tyrosine activity is high, more melanin is produced. When it is low, less melanin is produced. In a young, healthy skin with even function, melanocytes produce melanin at a consistent rate and distribute it evenly across the skin. The result is an even skin tone. But as we age, several things change. Decades of ultraviolet radiation exposure cause certain melanocytes to become hyperactive. They produce excess melanin in localized areas. These clusters of excess melanin become the age spots, the dark patches, the uneven pigmentation that appears on the face, the hands, and the neck after 60. At the same time, the skin cell turnover slows. Young skin renews itself every 28 to 30 days. After 60, this cycle may take 60, 70, or 90 days. Melanin that would once have been shed with the normal turnover of skin cells now sits in the surface layers for much longer. Pigmentation concentrates, spots deepen, the overall tone becomes less even, and the structural proteins that give skin its firmness and smoothness. Collagen and elastin are produced more slowly as we age, while being broken down more quickly. An enzyme called elastase progressively degrades the elastic fibers that give skin its resilience. The result is the fine lines, the loss of firmness, the texture changes that accompany the pigmentation changes to create what we recognize as aged skin. The preparation I am about to share addresses all three of these processes simultaneously. Extrosination activity, driving localized pigmentation, the slow cell turnover allowing melanin to accumulate at the surface, and the degradation of the structural proteins that give skin its youthful texture. 3 mechanisms, 4 ingredients, 1 15-minute preparation twice per week. The first and primary ingredient is cooked white rice. 2 tablespoons simmer gently in 1 cup of water until almost all the water has been absorbed and the rice is very soft. Then blend it into a smooth paste. The cooking process, specifically the slow simmering rather than rapid boiling, is important. I will explain why in a moment. Rice contains a remarkable array of compounds that are directly relevant to the skin biology I have described. The most important for our purposes are feruic acid, phytic acid, and a class of compounds called riceramides. Feruic acid is a phenolic anti-agoptic that has been studied extensively in dermatology research. It inhibits tyrosine activity directly. Research has demonstrated that feruic acid reduces the enziatic conversion of tyrosine into melanin precursors, meaning it reduces the produce of new melanin at the cellular level. A 2018 study published in the journal Cosmetics found that rice water blocks the activity of elastase, the enzyme responsible for breaking down the elastic fibers I described. DAME preparation that reduces melanin production is simultaneously protecting the structural proteins that prevent wrinkle formation. Phytic acid, another compound in rice, functions as a natural alpha hydroxy acid. It gently loosens the bonds between dead skin cells at the outermost surface of the skin, promoting the removal of the melanin-loaded cells that are sitting there far longer than they should because of the age-related slowing of cell turnover. By accelerating the removal of these cells, phytic acid addresses the second mechanism I described, the accumulation of pigmentation at the surface, because the skin cannot shed it fast enough on its own. Inositol found in rice water has been studied specifically for its effects of skin pigmentation. It works as a natural tyrannus inhibitor, complementing the action of feruic acid through a different molecular pathway. The dual inhibition through both feruic acid and inositol is more effective than either compound alone, and the rice ceramides deserve specific mention in the context of the aging skin I am describing. Ceramides are lipid molecules that are essential components of the skin barrier. As we age, the skin camide content declines. The barrier becomes less effective at retaining moisture. The skin becomes drier, more fragile, and more susceptible to the environmental damage that drives both pigmentation and structural aging. Dermatological research has confirmed that topical application of rice-derived ceramides significantly reduces transepiral water loss, the rate at which moisture escapes through the skin surface. A skin that retains moisture better looks fuller, smoother, and more luminous. The ceramides in the rice preparation are not simply an incidental benefit. They are addressing a fundamental cause of a dull-aged appearance that coexists with the pigmentation changes. While slow simmering rather than rapid boiling, high heat degrades ferulic acid and phytic acid significantly. The gentle simmer on low heat for the time required to absorb most of the water extracts these compounds into the preparation without destroying them. The blending of the softened rice then releases the ceramides inositol from the rice grain matrix. The prepared paste contains all 4 active compound families in a biologically available form that a rinse of rice water or uncooked soaked rice would not provide at the same concentration. The second ingredient is whole milk. 2 tablespoons added to the blended rice paste. Milk contains lactic acid, which is an alpha hydroxy acid with one of the most well-documented records in dermatological research. I want to be precise about what the lactic acid in milk does, because it is doing something different and complementary to the phytic acid in the rice. A landmark study conducted at Massachusetts General Hospital examined the effects of lactic acid on women aged 40 to 70 with photo-damaged skin after 22 weeks of twice-daily use. Lactic acid significantly reduced overall photodamage severity, modeled hyperpigmentation, roughness, and saliness compared to control. A subsequent study found that at the appropriate concentration, lactic acid increased both epidermal and dermal firmness and thickness, improving skin smoothness and visibly reducing lines and wrinkles. The mechanism operates on 2 levels. First, lactic acid accelerates cell turnover by loosening the bonds between dead surface cells. The pigmented old cells are shed more rapidly. The fresh cells beneath them are revealed. Second, research has shown that lactic acid directly inhibits tyronase activity in a dose-dependent manner. It is reducing the production of new melanin. At the same time, it is removing the old accumulated melanin from the surface. This dual action, removing existing pigmentation while reducing the formation of new pigmentation, is why lactic acid is one of the most effective and best tolerated natural brightening compounds available. The concentration of lactic acid in whole milk is gentle enough for daily skin contact. The 15-INUT application twice per week delivers a meaningful cumulative exposure across weeks and months without the irritation risk of concentrated lactic acid products. The milk is not a diluted version of a strong treatment. It is the correct concentration for this frequency and contact time. Milk also contains proteins that form a temporary film on the skin surface during the application period, helping the other active compounds maintain contact with the skin rather than evaporating or dripping. It is both an active ingredient and a delivery medium. The third ingredient is olive oil, 1 teaspoon, and the fourth is coconut oil, 1 teaspoon. The oils serve 3 functions in this preparation. The first is as penetration enhancers. The phytic acid, ferolic acid, and lactic acid are water-soluble compounds. On their own, applied to the skin surface, they remain primarily in the outer layers of the epidermis. The presence of oils in the preparation creates microemulsion with the water-based compounds from the rice and milk that enhances the penetration of the active ingredients into the deeper layers of the epidermis where the tyrosinase active melanocytes actually reside. You are not simply treating the surface. The oils help carry the tyrosines inhibiting compounds closer to the cells, producing the excess melanin. The second function is moisture retention. Both olive oil and coconut oil are elusive agents. They reduce transepidermal water loss during the 15 minutes of contact, creating a slightly hydrated environment at the skin surface that improves the activity of the lactic acid and phytic acid. These compounds work better in a hydrated than a dry skin environment. The third function is direct antioxidant action. Olive oil contains oleoanthol and hydroxyuracil, which are polyphenol antioxidants with documented anti-inflammatory effects on skin tissue. Coconut oil contains vitamin E and lauric acid, which has antimicrobial properties that reduce the low-level skin inflammation that contributes to both melanoma hyperactivity and the inflammatory pathway that breaks down collagen. Research published in Skin Pharmacology and Physiology found that virgin coconut oil increased collagen synthesis and turnover in treated tissue, producing measurable improvements in the structural integrity of the dermis. The oils in this preparation are not simply cosmetic carriers. They are contributing antioxidant and structural support to the skin during the contact period. The complete preparation is as follows. Cook 2 tablespoons of white rice in 1 cup of water on low heat, stirring occasionally until the water is almost entirely absorbed and the rice is very soft. This takes approximately 15 to 20 minutes. Do not rush this with high heat. Remove from the heat and allow to cool slightly. Transfer the cooked rice to a blender. You may add a small amount of additional water, 1 or 2 tablespoons if needed for blending. Blend until you have a completely smooth paste with no visible grains remaining. Strain the blended paste through a fine mesh strainer or cheesecloth if you prefer a smoother texture. Though the preparation can be used without straining, and the unstrained version contains more of the ceramide content from the rice grain. To the strained or unstrained rice preparation, add 2 tablespoons of whole milk, 1 tsp of olive oil, and 1 tablespoon of virgin coconut oil. Mix thoroughly until all ingredients are evenly combined. Transfer to a clean glass jar or container with a lid and store immediately in the refrigerator. Use within 5 days. After 5 days, prepare a fresh batch. To apply, begin with thoroughly clean skin, not skin that has been cleansed with a harsh foaming cleanser. For reasons I will explain at the end of this video, use a gentle cleanser that does not strip the skin's natural oils. Apply a generous layer of the preparation across the face, the neck, and the décolletage using clean fingertips or a soft brush. The preparation should be thick enough to form a visible coating. Leave it on for 15 minutes. Set a timer. Do not leave it on longer than 15 minutes. The lactic acid and phytic acid, while gentle, can cause mild irritation with extended contact, particularly on sensitive skin, and the benefit does not increase meaningfully beyond the 15-minute window. After 15 minutes, rinse thoroughly with lukewarm or cool water. Pat dry with a clean cloth. Apply your normal moisturizer. Use twice per week. 2 fixed days written in your calendar. The results from this preparation are cumulative. The first application does not change the skin. The first month changes the surface texture. The second and third months reveal the changes in pigmentation. The structural benefits to collagen and elastin become visible across months 4 through 6. Consistent application is the only thing that allows the biology to express what the preparation makes possible. I want to tell you about a patient. Her name was Amo. She was 69 when she came to see me for a routine appointment. She had pronounced age spots on her face and hands that had been accumulating since her early 60s. She described them as the things she was most self-conscious about in her appearance. She had tried a commercial brightening cream for 8 months, with marginal results that had not sustained after she stopped using the product. She had grown up watching her grandmother use a rice preparation on her skin, but she had not continued the practice herself in adulthood, assuming, as many people do, that something so simple could not produce the results promised by the commercial product she was spending money on. I gave her the preparation I have just described, the recipe exactly as I have shared it with you, twice per week, 15 minutes, rinse with cool water, and I told her to take photographs of her face and hands in consistent natural light before she began. And every 4 weeks afterward, at week 4, the texture of her skin had improved. The rough, slightly thickened areas around the age spots had softened. The overall surface quality was more even. At week 8, she sent me her photographs. The comparison was visible. The age spots had not disappeared. I want to be honest about this, as I always am with my patients. Age spots that have been accumulating for years do not disappear in 2 months, but they had lightened. Their edges had softened. The contrast between the spots and the surrounding skin had reduced. The surrounding skin itself had improved in evenness and clarity to the degree that the spots appeared less prominent, even where their absolute darkness had not fully changed. At week 16, she came to the clinic. The change in the quality of her skin since her last visit was noticeable without needing the comparison photographs, though the photographs confirmed it clearly. The skin was luminous in a way it had not been. The largest age spot on her left cheek had faded to the point that it was visible only in certain lights. The fine lines around her eyes appeared less etched. The overall quality of the Scot had improved in texture, in tone, and in the quality of the light it reflected. She told me that she had continued the preparation because her granddaughter had asked her what she was doing to her skin. Her granddaughter had noticed before she had mentioned anything. That is the kind of result that sustained the practice. Before I give you your action plan, I want to address two things. The first is a word about what brightening actually means at the biological level, because I believe in clarity, and I do not wish to mislead you. The compounds in this preparation reduce tyrosine activity, which reduces the production of new melanin in the hyperactive melanocytes, responsible for age spots and uneven tone. They accelerate cell turnover, removing the melanin-loaded surface cells more efficiently. They protect and support the structural proteins that give skin its texture and firmness. The result is a genuine measurable improvement in skin clarity, evenness, and luminosity. This is what the research supports. This is what I have observed clinically. What this preparation does not do is alter your fundamental skin tone or the melanin content of normal, healthy, evenly distributed pigmentation. What it does is reduce the excess, the accumulated, the unevenly distributed pigmentation that sits on top of your natural skin and makes it look dull, aged, and uneven. The skin that emerges as your own skin at its clearest, most even, most structurally supported expression. This is what the preparation reveals. Not a different complexion, the best version of the one you already have. The second thing I want to address is patience. The skin turns over slowly after 60. Meaningful change in pigmentation requires multiple cycles of cell turnover. Multiple cycles take months. 4 months of twice-weekly preparation is where most people see the results they are hoping for clearly. 2 weeks is not enough to evaluate. 4 weeks shows you texture improvement. 8 weeks shows you the beginning of tonal change. 16 weeks shows you the full potential of what the preparation can produce in your skin at this stage of life. Now, the mistake I promised. The mistake that prevents results even when the preparation is made and used correctly. It is applying the preparation immediately after cleansing with a foaming or gel cleanser that contains sulfates. Felpate cleansers strip the skin's natural lipid film. This disrupts the skin's pH, which normally sets at approximately 4.5 to 5.55. The skin becomes temporarily more alkaline after sulfate cleansing. And here's why this matters specifically. Alpha hydroxy acids in this preparation. The lactic acid from the milk and the phytic acid from the rice are most active at a slightly acidic pH. They work by loosening the acidic bonds between dead skin cells. When the skin surface is alkaline from recent sulfate cleansing, these acids are partially neutralized before they can act on the skin surface. Their effectiveness is reduced significantly. Apply this preparation to skin that has been cleansed with a gentle non-sulfate cleanser. Micellar water, a cleansing oil, or a soft cream cleanser that does not produce significant lather. These methods clean without disrupting the skin's natural pH. When the skin surface remains at its natural, slightly acidic state when the preparation is applied, the lactic acid and phytic acid are active immediately from the first contact, working at full efficacy for the entire 15 minutes of the contact period. This single change in your cleansing method is, in my clinical observation, the thing that most consistently transforms a preparation producing modest results into one producing clear and visible ones. Here are your 3 steps for this week. Step 1. Make the preparation this week. Ideally today, 2 tablespoons of white rice. Simmer gently in 1 cup of water until very soft, blended, smooth, combined with 2 tablespoons of whole milk. 1 tablespoon of virgin coconut oil. 1 tablespoon of virgin coconut oil stored in a clean jar in a refrigerator. Preparation takes 30 minutes, including cooking and cooling time. Use it within 5 days. Step 2. Choose your 2 application days this week. Before your next application, cleanse your face with a gentle, non-foaming cleanser. Apply the preparation in a generous layer across the face, neck, and décolletage. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Rinse with cool water. These 2 days are your appointments. Write them in the calendar. Step 3. Take photographs of your face today before your first application in natural daylight from the front and from each side. Note the areas of pigmentation that concern you most. Store the photographs somewhere. You will not lose them. Eat the same photographs every 4 weeks. At week 8, comparison will be clear enough to be its own answer to whether this preparation works for you. I want to bring you back to where we began. To where we began, the word mochi had skin like rice cake. Emo's granddaughter asked what she had done. That question asked without being prompted, without knowing that anything had changed, is the measure that I always look for, not the patient's assessment of their own reflection, which is distorted by proximity and expectation. The unsolicited observation of someone who simply sees them. That is what consistent biological care of the skin produces, not overnight and not dramatically, across months of twice-weekly 15-minute applications. The clarity that was buried under accumulated pigmentation, under the dulling of slow cell turnover, under the gradual W of the structural integrity that reflects light differently, it is still there. This preparation helps it be seen again. If you type 13 in the comments at the beginning of this video, that commitment matters. Make the preparation today. Use it this week. If today was useful to you, leave a comment telling me which area of pigmentation on your face or body concerns you the most. I read everyone.